it's Tiff. If you've seen my latest video of my life update, you would probably know that I'm back in Korea and I've been looking for an apartment. So this is my apartment hunting video. It's actually been kind of hectic because I came back to Korea on Friday, February 7th, and I'm actually trying to look for a place to move into the next Friday, so February 14th. And I'm looking for a 2-room apartment this time. So if you've seen my previous apartment, you know that I lived by myself in an office cell, so it was a loft. But this time I'm gonna be living with my friend. So we're looking for a place with 2 bedrooms, and it's actually been obviously a big time crunch because there are not a lot of 2-room apartments that are within our budget. And yeah, it's just been very stressful. We did make a spreadsheet where we narrowed down a lot of places that we found on like Tabang, Jikbang, Naver Pudongsan app, and then there's something else called Peter Pan Pudongsan. We listed everything on this spreadsheet and we narrowed it down to about 20. And I've reached out to some real estate agents, and one of them actually called back and told me it's actually an ad for his real estate place. So the listing itself wasn't real, or it was already gone, but he was just using it to attract more people so that he can just show them some other similar places or places that weren't even in that budget. So say he posted something that was like 600,000 won a month, but then in the end, like if I wanted to live there, it would probably be like 900,000. That's what he told me. So then we looked at more of the places that we listed on the Excel sheet, and we realized that a lot of them actually did look like ads for the real estate places. So we had to cancel some of them from our list. So we're still waiting for some other real estate agents to get back to us and see what places are actually out there. So I think for the next time, if I'm ever moving in Korea again, I'm not using Tabang. I think I just got really lucky last time when I first moved to Korea because the place I wanted was real on Tabang and it was within the range that they put, and I found the place in one day and signed the contract in one day. But yeah, this time I don't know, it might be harder. So tomorrow we're actually going to the neighborhoods we're considering and probably just going right to the real estate agents near the area instead of waiting for the real estate agents from Tabang or whatever and see what places they have to offer. At 3 places so far, and we're now in another neighborhood looking for more, but so far it's been kind of hard because our budget's a little low, or people say our budget is low, and all the rooms have been kind of either really small or the bathroom is really gross, or we can't move in the time that we need to. Right now we're waiting for another real estate agent to look up some stuff and show us around another neighborhood, and we'll see how those rooms look like. my new room. I don't think you can tell from this angle where we ended up choosing, but stay tuned for that in our apartment tour video. But before that, I actually wanted to talk about how we ended up in this apartment, because that day we did look at a lot of apartments. There was one that we both thought was within our budget, and the location was central enough because I was trying to work in maybe Gangnam area and my friend needed access to Hongdae often, so that location was kind of in the middle for us. But that actually ended up not working out, because when we decided we wanted to go with that apartment, it was already the end of the day, so the real estate agent told us to come back the next day to sign the contract. And he sent us a text message with just a document about the apartment and its transactions beforehand so we can look at it. And we didn't really understand it because it was just a lot of real estate stuff and vocabulary that we didn't know, so I kind of just ignored it. And the next day around 3 we were going to sign the contract, but the real estate agent called us ahead of time and told us actually there's a problem with that apartment, as in the owner didn't pay taxes on the apartment and now it was foreclosed. I didn't understand that at first because I thought the owner just needed to go and pay all his taxes and then we can still sign the contract that day. But the owner didn't want to pay the taxes because he apparently got that apartment through a middleman, and the middleman told him he didn't need to pay taxes for the apartment, so he felt he was getting cheated out of his money, blah blah blah. So it wasn't going to be resolved in one day. And thankfully the real estate agent for that apartment was honest enough to tell us, hey, don't sign this contract because you might be living there one day and randomly get kicked out, so that's not something that either of us want. So that apartment didn't work out. And we were just kind of like, what? How could that happen? We were basically panicking because it was Tuesday evening, and if we went to look for some place on Wednesday to move in on Friday, people are just going to laugh at us. And I was really rushed because I was living at my friend's place at that time. My friend's lease was going to be up on the 17th, so I needed to move out before the 17th. There was one place that we liked as a second choice, and the rent was a bit high and the location was also a little bit further, but because I was panicking, I was willing to settle for it. And that was where my roommate and I kind of had an issue, where she was willing to settle for somewhere that was maybe not as nice as long as it worked for her budget, but I was willing to go for somewhere that is a little bit more expensive as long as it's nicer and more modern and cleaner. So we did sit at a cafe for like an hour just to work out our expenses and calculate our budget, and we were just looking at a calculator for like an hour trying to count everything that we might need and, you know, what can we afford. And a lot of places we saw were around 800,000 won per month, and we were trying to go for something that was closer to 700,000 won per month. And in the end, we did like this place the second best, and even though the location was a bit further, it was worth the rent, I feel like, because it is bigger than the other places. And I was also willing to budge about the location because I actually didn't even have a job yet at that point, so maybe I wouldn't even find a job in Gangnam and it would still be a pretty good location. So with this place, because it was still a little bit out of our budget, we were texting the real estate agent and like begging her and asking her to talk to the owner for us and just asking, hey, like, can you please lower the rent a little bit because we're really clean and our living habits are great, so we're going to leave this place spotless and they won't have to worry about anything, so like please talk to the owner for us. And we were texting like really desperate messages to the real estate agent, and they did lower the rent just a little bit by 20k, so we decided to just go for it. And yeah, that is a very long story, but that's how we ended up in this apartment. I think from the move-in day clip you might figure out where we ended up going with, but if you're curious about how it actually all looks, stay tuned for the apartment tour video. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section below or message me on Instagram. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
저 아무튼